but not only in the United States, but also around the world. Would you want to hear it? Yes? What I find is that more times than not, when faced with a solution, people tend to want it to be easy. But what if I warned you it was simple, yet needs constant work and action? Would you still be interested? On our podcast, Revolutionary Hour, we discuss these solutions instead of just complaining about the problems. We do this with the hope that our children can be better equipped to deal with the world that we are living in today. This is why you should be following our podcast by clicking the link above or finding us on your favorite streaming service. Revolutionary Hour is just that, revolutionary. So let's start making a future by learning from the past. Click that link, follow our show, make a change that'll last. What it is, what it is. What it is, everybody. This is your boy, Mr. E, Boss of the Southside Bosses, and you know we are coming here live on BOSS Radios, talking but ain't saying nothing. But we like to give y'all some raw and uncut information because it sounds like I be talking but ain't saying nothing. But I guarantee you, it's because I ain't saying nothing. It's definitely I'm saying something, man, and I got to say something tonight, man. I know y'all already know what I got to talk about, so let's go ahead and just address the elephant that's in the room. I'm fly to the motherfucker right now, ain't I? I know I'm fly. Yeah, so all right. Now, so since we got that out the way, and I know I'm fly right now, so I ain't gonna even mess with y'all no more. What's up with this? The Queen of England has died. She was 96 years old. And Prince William Andrew, give me a minute, because Charles, forgive me, Prince Charles is king now, and his wife is Queen Consort. All right. Now that we got that out the way, let's go ahead and talk about something that's really important. Okay. So tonight we're going to be talking about why I don't understand why you all do not have the urge to actually look at on your own people that have been unjustly taken from you. But we are all sitting on Facebook and Twitter and all that stuff, crying black tears. It's almost like y'all forgave your attacker. Now, I know what a lot of people are saying. Well, the queen, she ain't start all that. Well, she didn't end it either. So, with that being said, let's try to end some of this unjustly murders that's happening today. So tonight, we're going to be talking about two of our queens that have been unjustly taken from us. We're going to be talking about Tamla Horsford, and we're going to be talking about Breonna Taylor, because it seems like everybody just forgot about them. I told y'all I'm going to scream justice for Breonna until the death of me, until the death of me or the death of the people that actually brung her that turmoil. But first, I got to ask you, if you haven't already and you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast on YouTube, hit that follow button or that subscribe button or that like button, and go find us on your favorite streaming service, whether it's Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon MP3, Deezer, whatever, whoever, wherever. Find us and hit that follow, like, and subscribe button. And share us to your family and friends. That way they can be able to hear what we have to say, because I guarantee you that what I have to say is very, very instrumental in the success of implementing a solution, as you just heard. That's what we do on Revolutionary Hour. This is talking but ain't saying nothing, but you definitely need to find Revolutionary Hour on all streaming services as well. Share us to your family and friends. And when we come back, after a word from a few of our sponsors and a little bit of music from your boy, Mr. E, the Gutter Baby, we're going to be talking about what is going on in the realm of Breonna Taylor and Tamla Horsford. All right. But I'm also going to have to, my hair is kind of getting out of control. I know y'all see that. So I'm also going to be making a paste while we doing this and putting, and just to let y'all know, because I know a lot of people be seeing my dreads and saying my dreads look good. I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. This is what I do to my hair. I put Shea Bay in my hair. Yeah, I got enough to last me for the rest of my life. But I have Shea Bay. I also have organic cherry kernel oil. I also have car oil. And I also have black Jamaican castor oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be mixing that up on the break or whatnot. And I'm just going to go ahead and start applying that to my hair while I talk about Breonna Taylor and Tamla and Horsford. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, tune up, and turn out, baby. You already know what it is. This is it's BOSS radio, and it ain't playing it for me right now. So we gonna go ahead and get that fixed. But right now we're gonna go ahead and play a little bit of music. I gotta play this music right now for my people. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for this because y'all need to hear this because a lot of y'all do not understand that it's we need to actually hear from this. You feel me? So y'all let's listen to that real quick, and then after that it'll be a word from one of our sponsors. I'm ready streets up and down with my partner selling whatever I can, trying to make that dough. Hey, in the studio, grab the mic and I'm spit it real hype like I'm at a show. I'm a dog, y'all loud, call you bitch and a hoe, all because you wouldn't look this way. And then when I had you, didn't show that I care, so I'm all alone to this day. Instead of a sister, all I saw was the money, but you couldn't get a thing from me. And it's funny, think about it, at the end, I didn't even see it till I ended up bumming. So now you got my mind running, heart still racing, my thoughts caged in. Tears burning my skin and it feels like fire, or maybe even hot cage in. I wanna make it up to you, queens. Please understand, I got caught up in those scenes. I didn't care about your heart, didn't care about your mind. All I wanted what was in those jeans. As men, we protect our queens, help them fulfill whatever their dreams. It's time that we be the backbone instead of breaking our backs, provide means. So I'm sorry, I never should have done it, but I'm sorry. You should have seen this coming, but I'm sorry. And now I sent you running, but I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I never should have done it, but I'm sorry. You should have seen this coming, but I'm sorry. And now I sent you running, but I'm sorry. Forgive me. I didn't see you as a brother. Instead, we beat because you wore the wrong colors. Always fighting with each other. It was alright till we put your brother under. So a fucking war started. Fuck Iraq, it was more like Iraq with the heartless. The messed up thing is that we don't even know how any of this started. Now we invited the police in since they couldn't contain the lock us in. The whole country screaming kill us all. So the motherfuckers killed us and boxes then. When I say I wanna be your friend, we got too many enemies in this land. We got slaves at the end of overseers and the coons that wanna do us in. Not to mention the bankers. We can stack this bread instead of these bodies. If we steady kill ourselves, drop shooters down, and the judge get the handguns like car keys. What would happen to us small seeds? We all born hopeless, but we can change these things. Gotta get into our mind, then get up on a grind for the kingpin to correct things. Maintaining is in brain. We got soldiers as strong as a diesel train. If we pick up the momentum and we hit them full force, we can destroy their brain. They got you seeing me as a lane. They got me seeing you as a lane. But we know that you're insane, so I wanna say sorry and let's break this late chain. I'm sorry. I never should have done it, but I'm sorry. You should have seen this coming, but I'm sorry. And now I sent you running, but I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I never should have done it, but I'm sorry. You should have seen this coming, but I'm sorry. And now I sent you running, but I'm sorry. Forgive me. Don't allow them to make us destroy us. Don't allow them to make us destroy our shit. It's our home. It's our family. It's our love. They don't give a fuck about us. Why?
Because they have to fight what they want. How many of their security force do they see when we at the club? 3 or 4. And how many of us there are there at the club? At least 30 to 40. If they ain't afraid of us, why not? Ask yourself. It's because they have our minds. They control our thoughts. So they don't need to be afraid. But we still have our hearts. So I want you to open up yours with these words that I speak tonight. You're stronger than they will. You're more intelligent than they will. You're more resilient. So right now, let's say I'm sorry to my sisters. And I'm going to say I'm sorry to my brothers. Let's end the beat. Let's build our community. Let's be our team. Let's grow our families. Let's take care of our health. Let's take care of our crime. Let's take care of our drugs. Let's take care of all this that's plaguing the nation right now. I'm sorry, I never should have done it, but I'm sorry, you should have seen this coming, but I'm sorry, and now I sent you running, but I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm sorry, I never should have done it, but I'm sorry, you should have seen this coming, but I'm sorry, and now I sent you running, but I'm sorry, forgive me.
Just let y'all know I always put it down for us Asiatics first. Just because I don't believe in that racial paradigm created by that German back in the 1700s, that don't mean that we ain't kin. That don't mean we ain't family. You feel me? But now, here's a word from one of our sponsors.
Butter dripping off of you.
Oh, wait a minute. Whoa. Give me one moment because I have to play this because my lawyers will cuss my ass out. I have to play this disclaimer real quick because, I'll be on some controversial shit. So give me one moment as I get this up. I do apologize. I wasn't up on this one. I thought I had it done, but I didn't have it done. But I'm going to have it done right motherfucking now. Y'all heard me. We going to get it popping.
Be a witness. Southside bosses, its owners and associates take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the site or the radio station, and opinions between talk show hosts may conflict. This site does not endorse anything as the truth. That you will have to judge for yourself. But we try to speak the truth on the owner's behalf and reserve the right to question the supposed truth. In this time of misinformation, government-controlled media, and government corruption, it is sometimes hard to get to the truth, but we must try. It is not our intention to libel, discriminate, make hate, or annoy anyone. We believe that it is our constitutional First Amendment right of free speech to voice our opinions and our duty to the Constitution and country to expose the truth.
Thank y'all for holding on,
This site takes no responsibility for the opinions of others and the postings of comments and chat.
Yes, sir. So like I already mentioned before that, the Queen of England, she has already kicked the bucket. She is gone. She's out of the crown. She's out of the throne. We ain't got to worry about her no more. We have to now worry about Prince Charles and his wife. You know what I'm saying? But hey, whatever. But first thing I got to do is I got to worry about us. How you been doing? You been doing good? Talk to me. You got my chat box open. I love to talk to y'all. Y'all also know how to find us on Facebook. Hit me up, man. I love to chat with y'all because when we exchange knowledge, each one teach one. So I'm gonna take a break off tonight and not talk and not teach, but I gotta check on y'all and make sure y'all are all right because there's two of our queens who have been taken away from us who have not received any justice yet. So while the queen is being laid in her crypt or whatever they're gonna put her in, we gotta have to talk about these ladies because I am sick and tired of us not worried about us. Whatever's going on in the rest of the world is cool, but we ain't worried about us. We ain't here. So let's get there. I know y'all remember a young woman by the name of Breonna Taylor. So, how many of y'all actually care to know that one of the former police detectives has pled guilty to one count of conspiracy, admitting that she has helped mislead a judge into authorizing a raid on Breonna Taylor's apartment? Now, if you have been listening to Mr. E, me personally, for a while now, then you already know that I don't play when it comes about Breonna Taylor. And I'm always going to be screaming justice for Breonna Taylor because her death and for her to be a black medical worker, for her to be someone who was actually someone. She was a black medical worker in Louisville, Kentucky. She had probably saved some lives before, but unjustly had her life taken because the police just had to break down her door and fuck up a raid on her apartment. And that was one of the main drivers of a wide scale demonstration that blew up in 2020 over policing and racial injustice just here in the United States. So many. George Floyd, we watched him die live 9 minutes for them to kill him. And we was able to get some justice for that. But yet we have not yet been able to get any justice for Breonna Taylor because get this, even though she admitted that she was guilty to misleading a judge, this former police detective, into authorizing a raid of Breonna Taylor's apartment, this still doesn't say that she had a part in Breonna Taylor's death. It doesn't. This is not what they are saying. This is saying that she has broken her oath to uphold the law and to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So in that, Breonna Taylor's name does not even have to come up once. This is just like Brett Hankerson getting the one unwanted endangerment of a neighbor because not because he shot bullets into her, but because he shot bullets that entered an apartment of a white neighbor. Even though there were bullets that entered the upstairs neighbor of the black neighbor, the upstairs floor, excuse me, of the black neighbor. So forgive me if I don't believe any of this. Forgive me if I feel like that you have not done enough for Breonna Taylor. It seems like right now, all you're really doing is placating. You're placating. You're handling the ordinances and the codes that you as an employee have to live up by. But what you're not doing is actually giving the family of this young lady some justice. That's it. That's what we are looking for. You can handle that bureaucracy shit later. Right now, we need to tend to her. Now, I'm going to go back and remind y'all about the transcripts. Remember how we broke out the transcripts and let you get to hear the transcripts? Yes. Remember, we broke out and showed y'all there was no reason for Breonna Taylor's apartment to be under surveillance at the time, let alone had her door kicked in. Think about that. We know why. We know why. It was an opportunity to decrease the black population by just one more soul. They got to. They have to. If not, then we're going to end up taking over. You know why? Because their mortality rate is low. They do not produce enough babies to cover the people that they are losing through natural death. So we are continuing to be baited. Queen Elizabeth died. She was 96. She was 96. 96 years old. So all of that don't mean nothing to me. Yeah, I'll put that on my hair in a moment, but for real, that don't mean nothing to me. Because there are way more, way more people that should be actually like found. Period. We are missing young black girls. We're missing women. We're missing men. There are people who are being hung, and we can't even get justice for them. But yet, we want to mourn a woman that actually was a part of our demise. Y'all don't get it, do you? Mm-mm. Nobody gets it. And until we actually decide that we're going to get it, we won't get it. You won't get it. But I want to go on and say one thing before I continue is that I live down here in Corpus Christi, Texas. And if you live in Corpus Christi, Texas, especially if you are an Asiatic so-called black person, then you would have known of Miss Evelyn. Miss Evelyn passed away. And she has done more for black people than the Queen has. So this is why I want to take that moment to actually give her a moment of silence so that we can honor her name, her spirit. And hopefully we can get people on this show that be able to actually tell you about her story. Because there's so many that needs to be celebrated while they're still alive, like Dr. Scott down here in Corpus Christi, Texas, has met the Queen twice. Not only did she meet the Queen twice, the second time she was flown out to England. Excuse me, I know y'all can't see my hand because of Brianna right here. But yeah, she was flown out to England to meet the Queen, like by name. That they asked for Dr. Scott by name. That was back in 1976. And the things that she has done for the Black American, especially in Texas, are touts that needs to be expanded on. People need to be shouting these things out from the rooftop instead of mourning someone who didn't give two fucks about you. I'm sorry. I'm going to throw that up there. That's shade. Did you see the title? If you ain't seen the title, then you don't know what's going on there. Now, I know what you're thinking. Eric, you're being kind of rude. This lady just died. Yeah, she died after living a very long death. I mean, a very long life. So, excuse me for being more upset that this woman didn't get to live a very long life, and a woman who did nothing but facilitate the raping of not only my ancestors but my cousins that's across the waters right now. You feel me? I don't rock this around my neck just because it looked pretty. It's a reason around my neck. And once I get my medallion finished, where it's going to be North, South America, and Africa all in one, and I'm talking about the Israel, the so-called Middle East, is going to be attached to it too, because there's no Middle East, it's Africa. All of that is Africa. When I get that, I'm going to be flaunting that. And that's who I care about. I'm sorry. So when we come back, after a little bit of music and a word from a couple of our sponsors, we're going to be talking about Tamla Horsford, Tamla Horsford, who got the most erroneous, horrible demise and injustice of us all. But all y'all who are following the Breonna Taylor case, just know that her case, her case. Sorry, I'm still getting used to this camera. Her case is still open, and people are coming out and admitting to the wrong that they did that took this young lady's life. But when I come back, I'm probably gonna have some stuff in my hair, so you better not laugh at me. But just know, I know y'all like the queen and all, but this woman here, she didn't get to live her life. And they need to bring all those murderers to justice. Like I said, when we come back, we're going to be talking about Tamla Horsford and why she should be getting justice as well. So you already know you are listening to, and just the, already. So now this is a little bit of word from one of our sponsors. Y'all make sure y'all tune in, turn up, and zone out, baby, because you already know what it is. And the disenfranchises the indigenous person. And by us thinking that these systems are going to last, we're contributing to these systems with our taxpayers. I was just saying in a TikTok post the other day how black people actually pay police to kill black people. I mean, you pay. How many times have we said that I pay the taxes that pay you? That means I pay you, and that means that I can fire you. I just don't know how, because I don't have all the rules to the game. But once I figure it out, I am going to play the game right. So instead of us actually trying to, beat them at their own game without learning the rules to it, let's learn the rules to it. Because we obviously see that the Black Congressional Caucus is not going to do anything for us. I haven't even heard anything about them in years now, since the Black Lives Matter first. Took the break. It turns out that a whole police department just decided to put in their resignations. Kinley, North Carolina Police Department is no longer in work. Well, in the next 2 weeks, they would not have a police department. So, what happened? Well, before we get into that, let's talk about Justine Jones. Justine Jones is the new Kinley, North Carolina city manager that was hired by the city council in order to be able to, manage the city. I mean, that's what a city manager does, right? Well, a lot of people don't know that the police department's contract lies within the hands of the mayor and the city council. That's why they're not really law enforcement, they're policy enforcers. But that's another subject for another day. But what happened to Justine Jones prior to coming to North Carolina is what is really touching me on this, was really actually giving me some kind of weird vibes. Because what if I told you there's a viable solution to the problem that so-called black people are facing, not only in the United States, but also around the world? Would you want to hear it? Yes? What I find is that more times than not, when faced with a solution, people tend to want it to be easy. But what if I warned you it was simple, yet needs constant work and action? Would you still be interested? On our podcast, Revolutionary Hour, we discuss these solutions instead of just complaining about the problems. We do this with the hope that our children can be better equipped to deal with the world that we are living in today. This is why you should be following our podcast by clicking the link above or finding us on your favorite streaming service. Revolutionary Hour is just that, revolutionary. So let's start making a future by learning from the past. Click that link, follow our show, make a change that'll last. Hello, my name is Mr. E, and I love to bring the best reggae artists to your ear just so you can have the best to listen to. We get to know these artists in ways that only you can know through listening to them speak on life and the way that they see it. So, I want to invite you to follow our podcast to keep up or even find a new favorite artist by clicking the link above and just hitting the follow button. From legend artists such as Glenn Washington to brand new emerging artists like Sky the Limit, reggae is an art form full of artists, and we have them here with us on BOSS Radio. You never interacted with the art if you can't vibe with the artist. So, this is your perfect chance to understand the lyrics, emotions, and sounds the way they were meant to be. Hit that follow button today so you can stop missing out right now. Already, man, you know we are back in here, doing the doing the damn thing. You already know what it is. And man, once again, I have to ask y'all, man. Y'all have to follow us on all of our other streaming services too. Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, these and more, because Revolutionary Hour is still going to be bringing y'all the best of the best of the best of what you need to know. Because y'all be acting like y'all know, but y'all actually need somebody to tell y'all what y'all need to know. Because like the Europeans, they're gonna always report on what they got going on. They always going to make sure that you understand what they got going on, because it's only one thing that they care about, is that you know that they are still in control. So if they are constantly feeling like they are in control, you got to actually put yourself in a position where you won't have to worry about hearing music that or hearing news, excuse me, that has nothing to do with you. So, with that being said, I do want to ask you all to join us in whenever we do go on Reggae Hour. We like to talk about what's going on with what's happening in the continent of Africa. So this is why we have our Reggae Hour African News podcast. You'll be able to find on Reggae Hour, which you can find that on almost every streaming service. Spotify, some haters, they don't like the fact that my reggae show is pumping. But with that being said, though, y'all can always just go ahead and check out Reggae Hour right here on iHeart, iTunes, and all the rest of those streaming services that I named earlier, except for Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube. Make sure you go ahead and find us, follow us, and share us to all your family and friends, man. Because I'm telling you, we be bringing you some of the best underground reggae artists, and also some of the best mainstream legends. Tony Roy, man. Tony Boy, who we had on the Ioctane, you know what I'm saying? We had Glenn Washington, you know what I'm saying? So y'all make sure y'all go over there and y'all check it out. And we also like to talk about what's going on the African continent on our show, Reggae Hour, African News. So make sure y'all go over there and check it out. I tell you, you're gonna love it. Anyways, now let's go ahead and get into it because again, we have to discuss how we have our women that are just coming up missing, and we don't even know what's going on with them. Now, with we talk about Tamla Horsford, they found her body. I don't know if y'all been keeping up with that. Yeah, they found her body, and it's so weird that when they found her body, that she had all of these signs that of like murder, that you would think that she would be like on the America's they would be actually having America's Most Wanted or something like that to find out who her murderer was. Because the initial autopsy ordered by the Forsyth Sheriff's Office discovered that it was like multiple blunt force injuries and a high blood alcohol level, meaning that somebody obviously got her drunk and beat her to death. Especially for the people at the party to not know what happened to her. Now this is weird because the officials had speculated that the ladder caused her to fall. The alcohol caused her to fall from the porch, and that the injuries were just a result of the 14-foot fall. Now, Horsford family and friends were not convinced about that shit, and I understand why. So they called for a second independent autopsy. Now, this is when they carried out by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The GBI got involved. Now, the GBI is not as accurate as the FBI. They did, you know, the FBI got over a 90% convict rate. The GBI do not. So the GBI ain't really as reliable as the FBI. But according to the GBI medical examiner's report, Horsford sustained severe injuries to her head, neck, and torso. They discovered cuts on her face, wrist, hand, and lower legs, as well as lacerations to the right ventricle of her heart. The GBI toxicology screening found a blood alcohol level of 0.238 and traces of THC and alprazolam, an anxiety drug. Now, we all who from the streets, we know that alprazolam is the new Xanax. We know those are new bars. And that could be put into your drink and you wouldn't even know it. It's not like the date rape drug, but you wouldn't even know that you have this drug in your body. You wouldn't even know. So it, this woman did not know that. Excuse me. This woman did not know that. So how was she supposed to be able to actually taste that this medication that she was putting in her body, it was not good for her? She didn't know. They were sitting there getting drunk. No, I'm gonna tell you like this: no true pill popper drinks and pop as much pills as that. They don't do that because they know once they black out, that's it. And apparently, if you look at this picture right, oh, excuse me, this picture right here, we can see the company that she was left with. So why is it that the one heavily melanated person in the whole group is the one that comes up missing? They didn't know where she was, right? Ain't that wasn't that the story? They didn't know where she was. She came up missing just to find out she was in the backyard. Are you telling me that the dogs could not find a body in the backyard the first day that she was missing? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't. But You would think since they found all that, it's going to open the case up again. No, 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 no. See, even before the results of the autopsy, speculation of foul play had begun spread online. So people was all like prompted to uh, 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 get up and protesting. I mean, come on now. This is 2 years before George Floyd, but this is a couple of years after Trayvon Martin, around the time of Michael Brown and other unarmed black men and women who were demised of. So, of course, it's going to create some kind of tension amongst racial divisions. So, the 2 months after Horsford's death, the Forsyth County Court firing Breonna, then a court officer, for assessing the incident report internally on multiple occasions. This means that this Beretta was looking into this court case 2 months after it was deemed just an accident and she was just dead. Why would she do that? Well, maybe she was trying to keep up with what's going on. Hey, just because they said it's closed don't mean that it's going to stay closed. So I got to keep an eye on this. But why would I want to keep an eye on it unless I'm the media, or unless I'm a direct family member who's trying to actually get justice, or I'm a murderer trying to get away and I need to make sure that this person case never comes up again. I have to keep an eye on. Well, since that happened, since that person, Beretta, active like got on this case multiple times, they decided they had to reopen this case. So hundreds of people shared the hashtag Tamla Horsford, questioning different angles of the case and calling for justice. So this is when I'm looking at my people like we're doing something. We're making a change. We're trying to find justice. How short-lived that was. Because the case was officially closed on February 20th, 2019, ruled as an accidental death. Major Joe Perkins of the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office stated that none of Horsford's injuries aligned with foul play, saying it was a party, they were drinking, she was drinking. Most of the partygoers had gone to bed at that time, and she was on the deck alone. He had interviewed 30 people, including family, friends, and other partygoers, who said that they had went to sleep and she was on the deck alone. Does that make sense to y'all? Oh no. See, this is where my people actually kind of make me proud again. Because after fading from the public eye, Horsford death became a real topic of advocacy again during the George Floyd anti-police brutality protests of 2020. So on June 5th, 2020, Ralph E. Fernandez had took on the case for the Horsford family. And he wrote a letter to the Horsford's husband, Leander Horsford, claiming that his team's investigation into the details of the case strongly suggested homicide. Now, it said now in part that the witness statements are in conflict. A potential subject handled the body as well as the evidence prior to law enforcement arriving. Evidence was disposed of and no inquiry followed. The scene was not preserved. He also stated that Horsford's injuries were consistent with those of physical struggle, but that the absence of photos from the initial autopsy prevented a definite conclusion. An Atlanta journalist published this a few days later. This is why Horsford name and this case spread all over the internet. And you know, when if it's all over the internet, it's I don't care if it's true or not. If it's all over the internet, then somebody got to do something. So after people was protesting in Cumming, Georgia, and including her name in a sign alongside the names of Black Americans that was killed by the police in recent years, a change.org petition calling for the case to be reopened amassed More than 709,000 signatures. That's amazing. Seeing how we can't come together to actually make some more progress in other areas like finance and economics. But what do I know? Ti and 50 Cent, they brought it up, they shared posts about it. So with all of this new publicity around this case, there had to be another investigation. So on June 12th, 2020, guess who decided they was going to reopen the case? A new sheriff by the name of Ron Freeman from the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. Yeah, the same office that dismissed this case decided they'll reopen it. The same ones. But this time, when they did, they sent the letter off to the GBI and asked them if they could investigate it. So that was what I appreciate of this new sheriff. But he stated that the investigation was best undertaken by an independent law enforcement agency, and the GBI agreed to reopen the case on June 18th, 2020. But they did not specify when the investigation would begin. Foul play. I'm sorry, just too much foul play right here. Because on July 28th, 2021, the GBI concluded their reinvestigation, ultimately decided not to even pursue any criminal charges. Game over. Tamla, Horsford, gone. And by justice, forgotten. But by all means, y'all mourn the death of the Queen Elizabeth, who did not return none of the stolen property of Africa, who did not stop atrocities all over the continent and in the island of Jamaica. A woman who could have kept Steve Biko alive, but chose not to. Some of y'all probably don't even know who Steve Biko is. It's all right. He ain't nothing but one of your cousins. That's all. He's not a oppressive royal monarchy. But again, you all have what you call a very limited attention span. But these women here, they didn't deserve what happened to them. No, they did not. They didn't deserve that. But by all means, I didn't mean to interrupt your morning. Back to the regularly scheduled program. But if you actually like what you heard here and you want to try to find out more, Louisville, Kentucky for Breonna Taylor. And for Miss Tamla Horsford, the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Call them. Call them. Let them know you want an investigation report. You want to know why they decided to reclose that case. Let us know, because I'm sorry, but none of that makes sense to me. So this is your boy, Mr. E Boss of the Southside Bosses. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Again, if you have, find us on your favorite streaming service. If you ain't listening to us on your favorite streaming service on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, these are more. That's going to be talking but ain't saying nothing. You can see it right here. And now go ahead and find us on there. You can also find us on www.sbcmovement.com, where you'll be able to see all of the reggae artists and all the good music that's going to be coming out real soon. If it ain't already came out, it's going to be hitting, baby. So go ahead and sign up for it. And if you ain't already done it, go ahead and look us up at Reggae Hour on all the streaming services, except for Spotify hating ass. But don't worry about it. Plus, we also have a great show that we broadcast on Sunday nights called What Would You Do? And I'm telling you, it is hot. It is one of the best shows out there on podcast, because man, you never know what you're gonna really do until it's done, right? So I definitely want y'all to make sure y'all tune in because we're gonna have a great show on this Sunday, and we're gonna have two or three guests. You know what I'm saying? We got two of them that's confirmed. We got one more we trying to wait on to confirm, but let's let y'all know what's gonna be going on Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What would you do? Is I want to know what you would do if you were out and about for a great night on the town with your side piece. But while you was walking from restaurant to the bar, you passed by your fiance who just happens to be out with their side piece. Now, do you end the date by getting rowdy? Do you let them continue their date while continuing your own date? Or would you leave that person, start an open relationship, and act like it never happened? What would you do? Now I'm gonna put the link up right here so you can go ahead and find us on Facebook because I'm telling you, I put up what I would do. And I'm telling you, it's hilarious. It is a I'm cracking. So hit that link that I'm about to share with you right now. And whenever you do go to that link, you can go to the discussion board. And at the discussion board, you'll be able to see that where I left my response, and you can leave your response as well. Again, that is BOS Says Radio on Facebook at BOS Says Podcast. And you can just go there, hit the event, and then hit that discussion. And I'm telling you, it's going to be live when you come on there and let us know exactly what's going on. Because I'm telling you, boy, we don't play when it comes to this show here. With me and Miss E squared in the building, we always gonna put it down. You heard me? So we're gonna go ahead and get on up out of here. You know what I'm saying? And before I do, you know what I'm saying, make sure that you understand that we are the glory. For real. We are the majority on this whole planet. So do not let them make you think you are the minority. Because in a democracy, it doesn't matter how many people you have. If you're labeled the minority, then guess what? You're the minority. But you're not the minority. That's the problem. You're the majority. You're just a minority on this land because they keep killing us. So, what I want you to do, since they are already trying to kill us, do not be afraid. Get up, get out there, do something with this information that you already got. Let's make a change because you're going to have children and they need a place that they can be safe in. You feel me? This is Mr. E, boss of the Southside Bosses. You know you listening to
Y'all one question. What you afraid of? I think we're gonna be friends. Hardly. You niggas everybody just bored to the party.
standing outside in the corner, right, looking through the window, see you tripped up like car keys.
So low with the vibrating, but I can't quit my game. Cause ain't a damn thing gon' change. Say it in my lane, try like a face of the train. Saying to myself, what ain't years gon' change. So I focus on the game plan. To put them all on the knees, like they better say amen. Got a crowd like Rayman. Ain't a straight man. All I wanted was the street with the bandstand. So I aim to get the stacks to the ceiling. When you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to only with the button, but now I'm coming for the glory. The clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, Texas, you live when you get this, you can feel my story. I used to only with the button, but now I'm coming for the glory. So I can make Texas, you live when you get this, you can feel my story. I used to only with the button, but now I'm coming for the glory. Good memory that lives, girl, talk about what it's gonna do to obtain success. People 10 toes down, make progress, while the competition hit it like Congress. I can't say I haven't studied, but Nipsey brought the hustle back, so now the bosses got this. We about the block bag, can't stop that, but it's a bird on the way to the projects. No longer treated like objects, tossed to the side, we glide, no matter where the weather. I remember living hard, so I have to stay fly, so baby, you fucking with a treasure. This thing like a skip movie there, and it might just be a little bit good. Nothing else is gonna stand in between me and glory. The clouds have opened up, and I've been seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and not being seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, so I can make Texas and live when you hear this, you be telling my story. I used to hold it from Monday, but now I'm coming for the glory. So I can make Texas and live when you hear this, you be telling my story. I used to hold it from Monday, but now I'm coming for the glory. My mom told me nothing ever let this game was play me. You lose it all in the blink of an eye. So true, while they pointing at the white man, they playing with my back while I hold it up big line. Now they gonna need a crossbow, cause I need 50 feet before I take a seat back to the wall. No room to slip, and let me see it all when it comes to taking cheap. There's no fakery, the money comes fast, I can sell at the trap bakery. You can be kidding me, I'm still here to sweet lick like you some kind of candy man. This is for the time I spent. I know that baby out there is checking for me. I guarantee it's not me. For the glory. The clouds have opened up, and nothing seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, the clouds have opened up, and nothing seen in all of my glory. Suddenly, so I can make Texas and live when you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to hold it from Monday, but now I'm coming for the glory. So I can make Texas and live when you hear this, you be feeling my story. I used to hold it from Monday,